Hey guys, hope everything's going well. You guys know the drill. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and comment down below. So, for some of you new listeners out there, I do sports cards video topics, and I also do videos just on sports in general. And today I'm going to be doing a video on sports cards, and particularly the hobby. We just saw Joe Orlando, the now former president of PSA, aka owned by Collectors Universe, which then is owned by a consortium of individuals or a whole bunch of individuals, including Nat Turner, Steve Cohn, the Chernin Group, etc. And Joe Orlando, the former president, he just announced that he's going to be stepping aside from PSA. And it's been over 20 years that he's been involved with the company. And I've told you that I started getting back into sports cards about a few years ago, and I always like looking for PSA cards. And I remember first sending in my submission in 2019. And obviously, there are cards that I really liked the rating of, some cards I did not. But I had the fondness of PSA. Even though they were kind of late, I understand that it's the only one in the company out there. There's BGS, there's SGC, but PSA always had that brand name recognition, which Joe Orlando helped create. And yes, Joe Orlando did make some mistakes last year with the pandemic. He didn't realize, because of the lockdowns, obviously not his fault, because of all the stimulus checks, the hobby just went crazy. All these individuals started getting back into the hobby. I got in about a year and 3 months before everyone was getting back in, or a little more than that. Regardless, we saw all of these cards coming in, the backlog went out of control, and you have to remember Collectors Universe was a publicly traded company last year, so they probably didn't want to shut down the whole services like they did maybe 6-7 months ago when Nat Turner took over. So I understand the situation, but at the end of the day, that's no excuse. Now we have Nat Turner coming in, and I have a lot of suspicions about Nat Turner, and I've talked about that in my previous videos. I don't trust this guy. Despite the problems of Joe Orlando in the past year with PSA, I'd rather have him at the helm than Nat Turner. So here's the deal with Nat Turner. Nat Turner and his buddies, Steve Cohn, Chernin Group, etc. There may be a few other investors out there. They bought this up. They bought PSA towards the high of the sports card industry. Sure, they had a backlog. Sure, there's going to be great cash flow coming in for PSA for the next, I would say, at least 7 to 10 months. They're set because of this huge backlog. At the end of the day, his buddies, Nat Turner, they're going to be taking over Golden Auctions. They're going to be taking over Wada Games. And who knows what's next for Nat Turner and everyone else. Are they going to eye another competitor? Are they going to look into a different space? Etc. And this is where I don't trust Nat Turner and everyone else. Nat Turner is going to be, first of all, the new CEO of PSA. In previous interviews, he was talking about, yeah, I have nothing to do with the day-to-day operations. I do come in to help out. You know, usually I'm not supposed to be doing that, but I'm just helping out. But I let them do their own thing. I doubt that's the case. I have been through a merger when I used to work at this marketing holding company. It's called WPP. It's publicly traded. It used to be huge back in the day. Because of a few things, it has gone downhill. I went before it completely lost its brand name. It's still probably one of the best marketing holding companies. But anyways, they owned some holding companies. I was in a merger with some of the companies that they had. And despite having a WPP owner, the companies still operate differently. So there was a lot of clashing that I had with my new bosses that was from a different WPP company that was now my boss. And when you start to get involved with new types of bosses, I think some of you may relate. You may have clashes. And I think that's where the tension came in. I was talking to my wife about, yeah, the PSA CEO just stepped down. She said, "Oh no, what happened?" And I was saying, that Nat Turner, he bought this company, and she said, "Oh yeah, I remember you talking about this." Long story short, she told me that there's probably some tension going on. Orlando may have not liked some of the things that Turner was doing. He was buying gold in auctions. That's completely a conflict of interest, in my opinion. Regardless, it appears that Joe Orlando was kicked out, but he just made his resignation letter, so it just wouldn't look bad. I think someone else was talking about this the other day, maybe Jason Whitlock. I don't remember off the top of my head. Regardless, Joe Orlando said that he resigned. He may have been kicked out by Nat Turner and the investment group. They may have not liked his leadership. They may have not liked what he had to say. You have to remember, there are countless individuals and people that are not crazy have done the statistical analysis that PSA is most likely engaging in population control, where they're purposely giving out less tens. So the cards or the remaining PSA 10s out there, they're going to still hold their value, even if the whole market crashes. So that's what the theory is right now. And Nat Turner said something really strange in this interview. I forget who it was with. He said that we've been accused of just uh, purposely grading cards out there and doing it fast and just assigning a grade because that's what some private equity guys may want. What if the private equity guys, the churning group, Steve Cohen, he's not a private equity guy, but he's a hedge fund guy. And what if Nat Turner is like telling their group that just get these cards out as quick as possible, purposely grade harder, still give tens, but it has to be a pristine 10, just like a BGS 10 or along the lines of that. And this way, in the future, this will allow us to have a great brand. And people are like, oh, if you have a PSA 10, that is the gold standard in cards. This is better than a BGS 10. Who knows if they're going that route? Regardless, I don't like the fact that they're doing this and they're not disclosing this. I really don't like that. And in addition, I've told you that Nat Turner is buying up all of these companies towards the high. I did some videos the other day where I analyzed the sentiment of sports cards. I should definitely find it. I don't know if I have it on my desk. No, I don't. But regardless, all this high sentiment over the last 18 years or 17 years, it happened twice this year. It hit a high, the Google Trends hit a high of 100 this year. And you see Nat Turner and all his buddies, the go along, get along gang, I call them that. They're buying all this stuff while sentiment's high. Sure, they got cash flow for the next 7 to 10 months at least. But at the end of the day, they're buying it towards a high. They're not buying it when there's fear in the market. If they had started buying in 2018 when the market was down, that would have been a fantastic purchase. You have to remember, they bought PSA or Collectors Universe around $90 a share, if I remember correctly. It was trading at a low last year of $17. So we see all the hot money coming in towards the high. We're not seeing it towards the low. So, first of all, I don't trust his judgment. Secondly, unless Nat Turner and his buddies are looking at a long-term play for the next 10 to 15 years, I understand that. 3, Nat Turner, like I mentioned, was saying, "Oh, I'm not really involved in this PSA thing. I mean, yeah, I come in, I'm trying to get my sleeves rolled up, but I let the management do their own job." That doesn't seem the case. Why would a guy that's been working 22 years decide to resign? Think about it. You get paid a good salary if you're the CEO. 2, you have been using your payments for mortgage, your kids, etc., and then you decide to step down. I don't understand why someone would do that with the job they've been growing the brand for 22 years. And it may be a case where they just got so frustrated that they just decided to leave because they could not deal with Nat Turner or the management group. Because I've had a situation, that job I told you at WPP, one of the intercompanies they own, or one of the companies they own, there were many times where I wanted to leave because that boss was crazy that I had. He drove me nuts at times. Granted, I did learn a lot, but it was one of the craziest experiences that I had. There were days that I got in at 8 or 9 and I left at 9. It was insane. He worked us like crazy. And I don't know what was happening behind the scenes at PSA. And I can tell you, most individuals that are working a long time in a company, they probably don't want to leave because they're acclimated to their job. They know what they're doing. They have a good life-work balance. And I don't think Joe Orlando had that, to be honest. I think the tension was brewing, and the fact that he probably had some shares of Collector's Universe. He probably made some good money when it was bought out. And he probably was like, hey, I made decent money. I made good money the past 20 years as CEO. It's time to move on. I don't want to deal with this nonsense because I see these guys not doing what I want to do. I don't think they're doing it the right way. He may be thinking that. Anyways, guys, I do want you to comment below. What do you think about Nat Turner? Is he destroying the hobby? My gut feeling, like I've told you before, I don't trust him. I don't like where this is going. A lot of people are complaining about PSA, about the grades that are being assigned, etc. And some people may be saying, hey, it's good to have new blood. Let's see where this goes. It may look bad right now, but let's maybe look at it from a few years from now. I understand that perspective. They may be saying, look, Nat Turner came in, he came to a difficult situation, they're getting the backlog under control. I understand some people are going to say that. Some people may be like, oh, you're pissing on PSA, blah, blah, blah. You're pissing on Nat Turner. Give him a chance. I'm just analyzing right now my own perception. My wife's comment, who doesn't know a whole lot about sports cards, but she knows the gist of it because I talked to her about it. She said that Nat Turner and all these guys seem to be cocky. Like, why are they buying everything now when the sports card market is at a high? That's what I don't understand. Is it just being arrogant and cocky, saying that, hey, this thing will continue to expand because the US dollar is going to go down in the future because they're printing money like crazy. Look at the craziness and chaotic nature of our economy. So collectible will be good long term. That could be their case, but the price, the valuation, probably too higher than what I thought it was. And then them getting involved in Golden. And the same day they got involved in Golden auctions, they decided to do a price hike so no one would send their cards. That's pretty shady to do. That's pretty much a slap in the face to the customers. They should just be more transparent. They're going to get blowback no matter what. Just be honest and don't hide the truth from the fans, from the people that are submitting. I don't have any intention in sending my cards to PSA because in the future, I have 20 cards left over there. After that $300 charge or whatever, I'm done with them for now. I want to wait and see in how they treat their customers. They're not treating their customers well, in my opinion, right now. I'd rather go to SGC. I don't have any cards right now that I'm sending, but if I were to, I'd send it to them. Maybe HGA. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. Is Nat Turner destroying the hobby? And say why or why not. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'll talk to you another day, guys. Thanks. Bye.